communication issues. So what and Yargo the only Koreans on this entire Chinese roster. So I wonder if that communication issue has anything to do with how inconsistent they've been looking and how they've been playing. I want to see them come back in the second half. I want to see them play a lot more confidently. Obviously, it's not great going down 0-2 in the series, but you cannot go down without a fight. This is a very, very important match, and they need to make strides. They need to make movements, but it starts with all, getting the attitude back there, getting the mindset back into gear.
So who, I guess I would say on the side of Moss 7 here, Kenobi, do you think they need to make any changes go into the second half, or do you think that they can just kind of steady the course here and just kind of keep playing their game that they're playing right now?
I mean, they're up 2-0, so I think you can pretty much steady the course so far as to what they're doing. They seem to be a lot comfortable. We're not seeing this Moss 7 club that we saw last week where they're just completely like switching over to team compositions. They don't really know what they're playing. Like we saw Jinmu switch over to Mei. You kind of had that feeling like, oh, they're just switching over to Mei this early because they want to farm up Blizzard. So when it's that last fight on payload, you are able to have that Blizzard and make sure freeze everybody, get a lot of easy picks there. So I like what I'm seeing from Moss 7 club, and they do. I think one amongst many mentioned it. They thrive in chaos, right? And I like to see them continue to add little elements of chaos. Add this Mei. Add like something interesting like Doomfist in there as well. Just keep adding these little bits of chaos that are throwing Lucky Future off. But you as Moss 7 are very comfortable at playing.
So this is tough. You kind of answered it already for me, Scribe, but I want to formalize it here in the form of a question, and that is going into this second half here, Lucky Future, they've got a reverse sweep at this point, right? And they've got to make that happen. If they want to make the reverse sweep a reality, what changes on top of the ones you've kind of already mentioned do they need to bring into the fold here to make it happen? Because right now we're looking at a team that's just kind of, they're getting rolled a little bit. It's not that they're like getting totally rolled over, but it's definitely not what you were hoping for in the first half.
Yeah, of course. I think there's definitely a lot of stuff they could definitely try to push forward more. One of the big things I want to see them is pressuring Mask more. China Contenders has this weird meta where teams are almost willing to allow the enemy solo carry to get his looks in. And their main dependence is saying that, well, our carry is going to be better than your carry, and we're going to win all these duels. And that's kind of what the reliance on mentally is currently, as it seems. What I want them to do more is pressure Mask. I want Sowa to be more aggressive. I want Sowa to almost not really feed into Mask, but really get into his face, make it so that he has to start moving. He has to take these hard shots instead of getting these easy, far range, uncontested abilities there. I want to see him do that. I want to see Tian continue playing extremely well. Maybe starts looking to support Sowa a little more, but more importantly, Yogg has to be activated. Yogg is the carry for this team, and he's going to be the person who has to come up and make that final, those final kills and really bring it back for them.
Kenobi, is this going to be a 4-0?
No, because I said 3-1 and I want that to be correct. So it's going to be.
Chat even wants you to be wrong. People are like making copy.
I was right already once. Twitch chat. It's happening again. I'm sorry. It's sorry. I'm about to be 2-0 on the desk. Sorry, but I think it is going to be 3-1. I've seen bright spots from Lucky Future, and I think they are gonna take a break at halftime and can maybe come back and take this map that they're gonna be playing on next. So I'm gonna be looking here for a 3-1. I don't think it's been played to the point where I think it's gonna be a 4-0.
Fair enough. Well, we're going to Volskaya Industries next. So put on your parkas. Let's go to Volskaya Industries, one amongst many. Ryan Central, go ahead, guys. Take it away.
All right, thank you so much, Kick Tripod. Two very important things are going to be decided here. Who drops into that dastardly 5th place, who can secure themselves a good run at the very least for that 4th place spot. And, of course, the battle of the analysts. Who is Kenobi going to go 2-0? Is Scribe going to end up going 0-2? It's all to play for here, ladies and gentlemen, in Contenders China. I, of course, am Josh, one amongst many Pemberton. That is Ryan Central. And I, Boss 7, they could bring out anything here. Like this, I like Boss 7 a lot because we've already seen a very diverse cast of heroes so far.
Exactly. I mean, they're obviously still in spawn picking a hero lineup, but this comp, they're sort of locked in at the moment. It wouldn't surprise me just bringing out a Bastion for the sake of it. Lucky Future have a big game on their hands. They are going to be defending first, and they need to sort of prepare and guess what Boss 7 are going to be running. They're actually going to be running the Goats comp themselves with the Reinhardt, Diva, Zarya, Brigitte, Lucio, Moira, so most importantly, there's no res on the defending side. Moss 7, are they actually going to be running this lineup?
It looks like it. The absolute madmen, they're doing it. This absolute unit is rolling forth. Bastion sets himself up, and they actually try to do like an aggressive hold here, but they're just right in the face of Bastion. Oh my god, so what goes for the charge there, but just runs into the fortified Orisa, who catches it beautifully. Everybody is dead. Goats has been destroyed. Bastion mows everybody down, and Lucky Future, well, they're unlucky Future basically at the moment, as they just got torn to pieces with a risky hold.
Not like this, not like this. No, I've never seen a team wipe in that first room other than a quick play in the closed beta, so certainly that's something. There was no way that Lucky Future could have expected a Bastion to come out. That was just some like next level hero swapping to be on the Bastion, but now they're going in on this is the Omnic crisis all over again, just matched with Anna who's just tagging along. Like,
they're going on the platforms. Yes. Oh my god. What is this beta strategy? Oh my, I love it so much. Oh no, he's not going for it. Oh, I was so hoping. It is a little bit too predictable. It is a little bit too obvious. So I don't blame them sticking with each other. But they have this triple tank lineup protecting this Bastion, trying to roll forward. The Omnics are trying to take over this factory that's been built to try and stop the advance. Of course, the law is being fully represented here, ladies and gentlemen. As Mars trying to set up. He's got to be careful though. His Mercy almost goes down there. He's got a Winston very bravely dueling with him. So what? He's trying to hold
staying there long.
But yeah, he is getting the hell out of that.
It's just the fear of having a Bastion there is enough to put Lucky Future off, but they're doing really well in containing the area that Moss 7 control. But now they're pushing onto the point. The Orisa set up quite nicely. The Bastion's just going on some like mad flank. The Yag does have the Dragon Blade. He's looking for a target to go through, but the Bastion's pulled out his ultimate. No picks on the kill feed just yet, but it's been zoned out completely. So this strategy might be short-lived as Yag gets blasted out of the sky from Mass, who goes down. So you would imagine that Moss 7 now is going to change up their lineup to something probably just as crazy.
As much as I love the Nano Bastion, like, credit where it's due, Yarg, as the Death said, needed to sort of, he needs to activate, he needs to come online here, and he absolutely did there, managing to scoop himself up a triple kill there and finishing off most of the team. But Moss 7 Club, they've actually built up a nice amount of ultimates here. They've got a good push coming up.
Exactly, and they're switching up their strategy yet again to something that's a bit more tanky. They have the Hanson now, which is going to put a bit more pressure onto Wanli. Doesn't have a Dragon Blade though, does Wanli, so now they're just going to try and take this high ground away from So What, who's had to back out. Jinmu is doing very similar to what he did before in Bastion, just trying to contain this left-hand side, considering there's so many targets there. Now we're going to see Moss 7 push it out a little bit, looking for you to bring out their own Valkyrie.
Yeah, So What goes down to Mask. Mask is once again turned up. He's just started killing nerds all over the place. He's destroying people. Dragon Strike across the point will buy them a little bit of time. They need to deal with Wanli on this high ground as well. It's going to be a little bit tricky to remove. He has managed to find the Zenyatta on his own, but can't quite find the shots. I think he's just drawn a perfect outline of the Omnic there, as he doesn't manage to find the kill there with the Storm Arrows. Feels a little bit bad, man. Yishin does have that bomber point. Will be able to clear some space. Dragon Blade comes out for Yug, though. Gets himself one. He's looking for another. Gets another. He's looking for the third. Does he find it? No, he trances. That's even better, I think, at this point. He's killed 2, forced out of Transcendence. As long as they can clean up here, they can manage to do something, but they've almost taken 2/3 here. Moss 7 Club still keeping this fight alive. The tanks are still on the point, still set up, still doing so much damage here. Jinmu just pressuring out here on this Roadhog. They're so difficult to displace it, but with the trace coming out from Wanli, this could be enough to start springing the back reinforcements to come forth. And there we go. Looks like they are just about got a third, but they are starting to clean up here. And it looks like, yes, they will manage to clean this one up. Wanli just starting to finish things up here.
He started to clear up. Mask is on the Doomfist now, switching as if it's sort of mystery heroes, but now Lucky Future managed to contain a lot of that excitement, I suppose, from Moss 7's aggressive plays. It looked like they might actually be able to sort of swing that point back, but Wanli's now going to change up. Even losing the pulse bomb, he's going to go for a Brigitte comp. No doubt keeping a very close eye on what Moss 7 are switching to, as it's a very traditional dive with a McCree that's there to try and shut down Yag on this forest. So now they're trying to counter strategize what they exactly want to do against Lucky Future.
So we do see that McCree starting to roll forward towards the point. Unfortunately, I'm still my feed. There we go. Feed's come back. just getting it set up there as well. They're still just looking for this position. They're still just trying to find their way in at the moment. Musk has done a good job at least of getting himself rolling here on this McCree. Swapping that hit scan, of course, just to try and pressure his way forward. But this defense is going to be a tough one to crack, like Ryan was saying. The Brigitte so difficult to actually just try and push into. You can see Wanli's just trying to chase people out as best as possible. And Musk actually finds him. Wanli goes down, and well, this is going to be a big opportunity now for Moss7 to try and get something done on the back of this. They're all go at the moment. Deadeye comes up, gets himself the pharmacy out of the sky. This is a huge set of kills for this team. They're just getting ready to complete out this push. Deeper comes through, beautifully dodged there around the pillar by Master. He just cannot get rid of this McCree on the point. Now the Dragon Blaze turn, he goes in, he's firing all the targets. Jinmu just slicing and dicing. Everybody is just stuck in a blender there as they're about to get this final third. Can they cap it out just at the very end? Yes, they can.
Very good posture work. Must have been still at ultimates to boot. Used basically everything in the slot last second. What is impressive for me from Must7 so far is the tempo that's been played at. You know, the strategy that they ran to begin with was very aggressive, you know, bursting the door down kind of stuff, taking the left-hand side to try and take a little bit of high ground, as you're seeing on the right of your screen. But then when they switched to McCree dive, they were much more patient. They were trying to zone out Yag from in the skies. And once they got the pick onto Wanli, who has been very aggressive, over-aggressive on the Brigitte, that's where they suddenly sparked into life, brought out the ultimates and managed to take the point back. So they're really flexible on these sort of compositions that they're running, and they also know their timing and tempo a lot better now than they have done in recent weeks. So now, looking future, need to try and push a lot faster, but I doubt they're going to bring out the Bastion on their push.
Yeah, it was certainly a novel pick. I love the fact that, you know, Volskaya is a map where there's just like tons of posters around, you know, it's like the enemy is among us, and it's like a picture of like a Bastion fighting amongst a crowd of people. It's very sinister and sort of very Cold War era evoking sort of propaganda coming out, and it's clearly a threat, right? The Bastion just comes out and devastates the entire team, catching them all off guard. It's kind of a nightmare situation, and
neither team could have known that. Exactly, it's just one of like neither team could have known that the other team was running that composition, so it just turned into this beautiful train wreck to sort of look on the point. And I don't think I've seen anything like that in competitive Overwatch.
It was something at the very least. Like, I've occasionally seen Bastions come out, and with like, I like the comp overall with like the triple tank Bastion. The idea is you sort of protect up the Bastion, but it was the perfect storm of the advanced ambushy position into a comp that just like wants you to try and run into them just to mow you down. It looks like Moss7, something a little bit more traditional overall with the Brigitte Widow coming out, so Brigitte just going to try and hold the choke. Meanwhile, Lucky Future running out double snipers as kind of standard could be in the modern era. Although no Ryan Zarya, but you know, you want mobility on this map.
Interesting, the thing that I want to sort of look and point out is how the position of Moss7 goes. It's the first pick onto Wanli, so straight away Lucky Future are going to back off just a little bit. They aren't going to team wipe just yet. The same fashion that Moss7 did on their attack. But like how Mask certainly places himself in a position to be aggressive and to go into the flanks, but also to sort of peel back and let Jinmu and the rest of Moss7 help him out. Much like he ran on Control Center, but now the two Widowmakers are going to fight this out. Oh, yeah, gets pick onto Jinmu. That might be a great opening for Lucky Future to take point A.
Yeah, Yag's blown this wide open for his team. Has a dragon ready as well. It's going to just plant it right through the rest of the team. That's just going to clear them all out. The dragon is absolutely sated here, ladies and gentlemen, as they do just roll into the point. This should just be a simple matter now for Lucky Future to close this one out. They're even going to start playing aggressively and just start rolling forward towards third, set themselves up. They have a good stock of support ultimates as well. Gary about to come online with that Transcendence. Hoya Huan available with the Valkyrie as well. But Moss7 kind of keeping pace.
Keeping pace, certainly. Like 7 minutes almost on the clock, so they did it in 1 minute and 20. Now they want to sort of zone out areas, either with infrasight, sonar, arrow, just be able to know where Moss7 are planning to position themselves. Jinmu now switching over to Genji from Brigitte. The strategy didn't quite work. You're going to get zoned out completely by the double snipers. That Brigitte is just left completely useless. Dissolved of any form of healing that she can pretty much do. So Lucky Future getting a pick up to Jinmu is a big ask. It might just bait out the Moss7 Mercy. Because Vanessa's just trying to scrap onto the point, fight against his Transcendence that she's very aggressively from Lucky Future.
Yeah, very big bomb comes up, clears out too, and that should probably put the kibosh on the rest of this push. So Jinmu is going to try and farm as much ult charge as he can as he just ranges forward there, collecting up all the kills, just scooping him up. Oh, lovely, he wants to have golden limbs, no doubt. As Well, he wants that Dragon Blade available for the next fight. It's going to be super crucial just to pressure out the enemies in Yada, but also just find a couple of kills. They're still going. They're just pushing all the way to spawn, punishing the people coming out of the Lucky Future, just getting a little bit greedy and not respecting the fact that Moss 7, they're playing first.
Yeah, they can't take the first point back, guys. It doesn't quite work that way. And Jinmu has just been, because this is a strategy with double sniper, right? That it doesn't like to fight close range. So Moss 7 are like, well, we'll take you back to spawn. This is something else. Both of these teams were inconsistent and scrappy at the bottom of their table. Now Moss 7's playing like olden sort of contenders teams when it comes to sort of spawn camping. Oh, the good old days, but like Yishin and the rest of Moss 7 are going to back out now. Making a very sneaky.
You can see that Yag is nervous, and I don't blame him. Like
he knows that they're up there, though.
Yeah, he knows that there's something going on. He knows that there's a threat. I mean, you say that Moss 7, you know, has anyone told them that you can't retake first? Because they clearly think so. They clearly think you can. Good. Dragon Strike kind of young, though. Will spring things forward. Jinmu, though, got to keep his team in it. This Dragon Blade just comes up huge. Manages to get 2, manages to get 3. All the support's going down. No problem. Just a small room with a Genji going into it, tearing the enemy team apart. That is absolutely huge. It was on the precipice there for Moss 7. If they lose people this far out, there is a chance they can come back and stall it, but it could have gone really badly. But Jinmu just puts the team in his backpack and carries throughout that fight.
I mean, with Dragon Blade, you can do that. Now, Mask is sort of the gatekeeper, making sure that he can zone out Lucky Future away from the point for a good enough time that people can respawn and they can reset. Now, Jimmy's back on the Brigitte. They've had their fun, I suppose, and now they want to make sure that still Lucky Future can't do it any faster, but they've been sort of sitting and waiting on ultimates. It's not going to take them long. They're above their spot ultimate, so they want to be aggressive here, but Moss 7 might just wait for that pick and then completely pounce on Lucky Future before they even get onto the point, before they even get out of spawn at this rate.
So, Lucky Future gonna just roll forward again, looking for that position, just looking for a snipe. Moss 7 Club doing a very good job just staying safe at the moment. They are not giving Yag anything for free, which is quite nice to see. Like Mask, one of the reasons why I think Mask has been doing so well is he's been getting a lot of free shots in, building up ultimates ridiculously fast. Yag hasn't quite had that advantage, hasn't quite had the angles and the edge to sort of find those kills. You can see Lucky Future, they're still setting up like it's been such a long time since the next fight. They just cannot find a position. They just cannot get onto anything. Now finally getting onto Musk with a beautiful headshot onto the Winston. Will put him in a lot of trouble. The Zenyatta's there to support him. So what actually wins out that fight, gets rid of Musk. That's a position where you cannot bring that Widowmaker back. So they are now on the back foot. And so what? Well, he says, so what to your team. Starts shoving forward here on this Winston. He looks like he wants to try and put this Zenyatta in the drink, but Zen's having none of it. He brings out the Transcendence, tries to bring it back to the point, keeps his team up and running, keeps this fight going. Diva Bomb getting launched up into the air, manages to get rid of Vanessa, crucially as well. So that Diva now out of the fight. Lucky Future, it looks like they want to try and take this one. Yag's starting to go big, he's starting to turn up, puts out a Dragon Strike, I think, right into the Mercy. She could just fly straight through it. That isn't a safe place to be, love. There's no Eye of the Storm there as she just gets taken down. Now, looks good for Moss 7 Club. Looks bad, sorry, for Moss 7 Club on the point. They brought out this Mei. They are known to play it pretty regularly, actually, so maybe we can get something done, but it looks like Yag's just having none of it at the moment. He is, like things said on the desk, Yag needed to go Super Saiyan. It looks like he's doing it now.
Exactly, and he's sort of just churning through Moss 7, who one by one has sacrificed himself for the point, but it looks like that's going to be it. It's only 20 seconds between Moss 7's very aggressive push and Lucky Future's more consistent one at the end. This could go either way, Josh. This is one crazy fight on Volskaya Industries.
You kind of mentioned it earlier that, like, you know, sometimes in Contenders China, we see these score lines go really high, and this looks like one of those maps where we could be seeing, like, you know, this is going to finish out as a 6-5, basically. This could be anything. And the question I ask now is, like, if you're playing as Lucky Future, oh no, it's Moss 7's defense. I was going to say, like, if you're playing on Lucky Future, what do you play on defense? Because who knows what Moss 7's going to come out with. But it is Moss 7's defense coming up now. Looks like Lucky Future. No way does Gary bring out the doofus. I wish he would, but he's teasing his emphasis upon the spawn. Meanwhile, Moss 7, they still haven't decided exactly what they're going to bring out. Surely, Feng Yan's been playing Mercy this whole time. Surely he brings that out. There it is.
Pretty much. You'd assume so, but you do raise a really good point how much of an advantage this is for Moss 7, that they can sort of set the bar, either full hold in first point, having to retake second. They can dictate their whole strategy and composition depending on what they need to do to win out this match. So, as you said, Lucky Future will have zero idea on what to run when it's their turn to defend. Right now, they've got to set quite a high bar on attack, and the strategies and compositions that are coming out at the moment are fairly interesting. Moss 7 running what they ran on defense last time, so they just got to make it work a little bit more, try and play together a little bit more than they did last time.
Okay, so Lucky Future rolling out with the double sniper once more, looking just to figure out where the enemy team is. They managed to get a nice early kill on Mask last time. If they can do that again, of course, this point does get kind of blown wide open. Tanks just going to be matching each other on the front line as well. So while actually getting caught out a little bit there, just gets bounced out by the Brigitte. Will be a-okay. But one lead, there we go. There's the early kill onto Mask. And again, you can see Yag instantly taking position while he actually finds himself another kill as well. Yishin just getting picked off there. Once that threat is gone, once that Widowmaker is gone, the point just gets blown wide open. Lucky Future wasting no time at all in scooping up the kills here.
Well, it's like Mask is a gatekeeper from Yag, because as you said, as soon as Mask got taken out the fight, Yag suddenly reached onto the high ground, took a much more aggressive stance in this fight. They will take the first point. They don't quite have the ultimates ready, but they're going to be on fairly soon. They want to take that fight in a very similar fashion. G1 might be switching to something very different, maybe the Brigitte that they want to sort of bring out, sort of clawing at the door to switch up. But this is the tempo that Lucky Future want to be playing at. Almost slow, trying to outwit where Mask wants to place himself. But now he's on Hanzo, it's a very different ball game to second than it was at first.
I mean, the lovely, handsome, beautiful, and majestic Scribe mentioned it on the desk. That the way that Lucky Future get back into this matchup is by controlling Mask, and it seems like they are managing to do that a bit by bit. Jinmu brings out the rally, though, gives his team all of that little extra armor, so it looks like they want to actually get something done here. They're starting to arrange themselves in a counter post position. This is going to try and force Lucky Future out. I mean, this is Moss 7 Club. They will not wait for you. They will not just give you the time that you need. And Gary's even forced to pop the Transcendence there just to try and keep this alive as the fight just goes into an area where you normally don't see fights. But again, this is Moss 7. They don't care about normal. They want you to play off normal. Doesn't matter for Yag, though. He continues to find all the damage, continues to find these kills so far. And Wanli doing a great job on this Brigitte, just clearing space, opening up the area for Yag to just continue finding these shots, pressuring out Mask. Once again, he's been shut down. Kills now coming through, and Lucky Future could start rolling this one towards the point. You can see Sowhat doing as much as possible here. They're doing a good job healing for Yag, keeping Yag alive in this fight. He's been so essential so far. I don't blame them at all for putting the carry pressure on his shoulders.
No surprise there. What doesn't kill you makes you stranger. Moss 7 are pretty strange right now. They've been beaten down so badly that they are just making weird fights for themselves and really making Lucky Future go, what are we even doing right now? But they do seem to be making progress on to first point, albeit at a very glacial pace. Mask is just trying to put out some damage so he can ult, clear up the point and make some space, but that is 42% percentage points on the second point for Lucky Future. And it's always just a crazy fight again. Yag bringing out the Dragon Strike, trying to sort of take down Yishin. They may be able to finish this out, but who knows at this point with these teams?
Yeah, the fireworks going off on the point as Jan does drop the bomb. Overtime, Wick has been lit, so this fight could go either way. As now kills starting to come back in the favor of Moss 7 Club. They are pressuring their way out. That Brigitte giving them a lot of extra endurance here, a lot of extra armor, and a lot of extra healing here. Vanessa goes and hunts down the Omnic hiding in the corner, hiding in the mist, gets rid of the Zenyatta, scoops him out, tries to get rid of Sowhat on the point, doesn't quite end up landing the charge, so doesn't finish that one off just yet. And it looks like they will complete this defense. Moss 7 Club close this one out with 3-2 on the score. So they just need to take second, and they will be 3-0 up, in the series.
Yeah, just under 2/3, sorry. But it's a pretty respectable sort of place to finish in. Lucky Future on Volskaya. The big question is, though, how do you prepare for the oncoming storm that is going to be Moss 7's unorthodox lineups for sure? But like, as I said at the start of Volskaya, when they had already locked in the Bastion, I go, they can't be running this surely. It wouldn't surprise me, but they couldn't. So now I'm very much looking at the top right of my screen to see what does get picked, and it looks a little bit more traditional, albeit I don't see a main tank at this point. But that could be open to interpretation. Who knows what can happen there? Lucky Future bringing out double snipers. Again, want to try and fight at a much farther range, trying to really slow down the tempo of what Moss 7 want to play at.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, what do you do about Moss 7? They, if you play poker and you have an opponent that bluffs, you can't help but think that they're bluffing every single time, but then you're never sure, you're never certain. Maybe this time they have ace king, maybe they have deuces, who knows? You can't be certain. So we will see. Moss 7 looks like they're opting for that Super Shimada Brothers with a twist at the moment. We'll see if they go in this one with the gates open. I like the fact that Lucky Future are running this Hanzo. They're putting him far forward. They want to scout that spawn door. They want to know exactly what's coming out.
They want to know what's coming before it hits them in the face. You mentioned poker sort of examples. Moss 7 are the kind of people to bring out a blue eyes white dragon in a poker game. There's just something very completely different. But this time it's looking fairly standard, but there's no main tank, there's no mercy, there's no sense of what this strategy is going to be. And I think that's the sort of aim to really sort of bust out what Lucky Future want to do. They start with the main pick. This could be first point already taken.
This is an aggressive team comp. This is an aggressive lineup. It's agile. It's got a lot of healing on it as well. This is going to run at people and kill them, and it does just that, managing to get rid of some crucial targets early. But can they control Young? Oh, Jinmu. I don't know if that was intentional or not. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. I think he's a good enough player to know not to, take a bit of an ice bath in those icy waters. But that's might actually bring this one back, though. The fight's still going. They've actually managed to clear out the point. Moss 7 Club pretty much going to flip it here.
This game is just directed by M. Night Shyamalan, I know it. It's
what a twist.
The second point goes 2.5 minutes on this point to get just under 2/3. It looks like they're going to be running a similar strategy. Actually, no, Mask is switching over to the Handsome because that long range is so good here. And kind of the weakness for what Moss 7 want to run. You've got the Moira, you've got Lucio, you've got Brigitte, all very much close range heroes. Jinmu is going to go on his Super Ninja adventures to try and find a pick, but currently he's just poking damage into the backline. Wanli switching over to Farah, really wants to zone out this strategy and this weakness, I suppose, that's coming out of Moss 7's comp. They are making progress onto the point.
Yeah, they got to be careful as well. Like, they're just going to get about 2/3 of it, but Wanli's going to put a timer on it. You can see the Dragon Blade's actually going up for him. He's trying to get rid of this annoying Nat in the sky. Mask is the one that lands the kill shot. He actually puts a headshot onto Wanli, takes him down, and now they are so close to finishing this one up. Moss 7 with one of the most unorthodox, one of the most interesting Volskyers we have seen, have managed to close this one out at the end of the day. They are 3-0 up so far in this series with some stellar play here on Volskyer Industries.
Stellar, certainly one word for Moss 7 Club, who have managed to win out this series. So far 3-0, it's not quite Kenobi's 3-1, but they are very strong on pure payload, depending on where we go, depending on where Lucky Future want to take us. But right now, Lucky Future must be sort of scratching their heads at how they've been playing. It's so difficult to sort of play against strategies that kind of come out of nothing, and when you're looking at the competitions, you're kind of thinking that doesn't really make all that much sense. But you can start to see more rhythm and rhyme with the crazy strategies from Moss 7 than honestly we've been able to see in the past. Now that might be because Lucky Future are kind of failing to shut down strategies as they happen, in comparison to other teams that Moss 7 have played against, or whether just Moss 7 have just got a lot better when it comes to the coordination and cohesion needed to run some of these crazy comps that we're seeing.
I mean, Moss 7 teaching everybody an important life lesson. Just because you're strange doesn't mean that you are wrong. All right, guys, we're going to go to a very brief break. And when we come back, we'll close out the rest of the series. Where will they go? Who knows? What will happen? Who knows? But do tune in and find out here at Broadcast.gg.
treat me like a machine. I could still be just what you need. No, baby, don't treat me like a machine. We used to be so young and free. Yeah, baby, don't treat me like a machine. I could still be just what you need. No, baby, don't treat me like a machine. Wanna go to your apartment, take it back to where we started. We'll be everything you wanted, you wanted, you wanted. And I know it could be perfect, and I know it would be worth it. We'll be everything you wanted, you wanted, you wanted. On it, on it, on you want it, on it, on it, on you want it, on it, on it, on you want it. You never stop calling me crazy, but you the one that's fucking crazy. And it's time for me to run. Yeah, it's time for me to go.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Contenders China. I am Josh, one amongst many Pemberton, joined by the ever lovely Ryan Central, and we are finishing up this series here between Moss 7 Club and Lucky Future. And Lucky Future, despite their divinations, clearly couldn't see Moss 7 Club coming, as they are currently 3-0 up in this important series. Moss 7 Club looking good in their group position now, probably feeling a little bit more secure on that 4th place position.
And this sort of puts Lucky Future into a relegation slot in their group, so it's not the perfect position to be in as we're getting towards the business end of this stage, this season in the group sort of area. Now, we're on sort of King's Row. This is a very different King's Row as well, actually. We're on Route 66, and this is an area that Moss 7 are already pretty consistent and pretty good on themselves. They will be attacking first. It looks like they might be trying out the strategy that we saw Lucky Future bring out, that the Overwatch League has brought out on numerous occasions, and to see maybe they're like, we're 3-0 up, let's give this strategy a go that all of the cool kids are using.
Yeah, I mean, Moss 7 playing towards the meta. When we've seen them do this historically, it's usually actually not worked so well for them. You know, Lucky Future playing the Ryan Zarya, normally see a lot of Arisa getting played on this map, but Ryan Zarya, absolutely valid, of course, as a choice. Mask going to be trying to range forward, but doesn't look like he finds anything. Instead, W4D2 manages to get a good angle on him, manages to find the Shotterino there, and he's going to start pressuring forward again, just knows that he has the opening to start getting something done. Yag as well, finding just an opening at the moment to try and just keep Moss 7 Club pushed onto that back foot.
Now this is the sort of pressure area that you'd expect out of a right-hand Zarya Hanzo composition. W4D2 is very low on health. Does get brought up and gets the pick up to Jinmu too. It's just, so far this strategy from Moss 7 isn't quite working, that they're now going to switch up things to something completely different. They tried the meta, it didn't quite work in their favor, so they're going to do what they do best.
Yeah, W4D2 is just destroying people at the moment. The lad has clearly had his ready break during that little break. He's really feeling good at the moment, and just a couple of moments there where it even felt like Moss 7 was just caught unawares. He's again finding these angles, finding these openings, and finding these shots that is just proving to be absolutely crucial for his team. Yeah, built up a crucial Dragon Strike as well. He even gets, I think, Vanessa there just throwing himself off. Jinmu looking for some sort of way in, but just gets caught out again. W4D2's doing such a good job holding this corner.
Jinmu's just failing to sort of get any form of pressure. The two snipers themselves are just able to control these flanks, so this is a really difficult position for Moss 7 to be in. They haven't really had the opportunity to use any form of ultimates because they've had to switch off to a different strategy, but W4D2's just doing the same thing over and over, just pressuring this right hand side. Yag's just pressuring main, brings out the Dragon Strike to sort of clear up some area, but is quickly sort of scuppered out of there. So this might be a good opportunity for Moss 7 to start pushing on through now that they have the pick in an area that Messi can't really wrestle.
So what? Drops down the hammer. He's going to just try and push forward for the team. It looks like Moss 7 Club just continues to apply the pressure. They've managed to just open up this entire area. There's fighting just everywhere at the moment, and this is where Moss 7 Club thrives. This is where they want to be. Jinmu comes in big, manages to disrupt the backline enough, blows things open for his tanks to push in, and now, well, they've created an opening. The question is, do Lucky Future attempt to retake? Looks like they're still on the fence. It's still decided.
Well, Yag's already there, but it needs more than just a hand to sort of contest this point. It does look like it's been stopped by the Transcendence, but Jinmu bringing out the Dragon Blade, gets a pick up to W4D2, and Yag takes up both the snipers and the Gary as he's just come out of Transcendence, but this point is still looking so close to being finished. We did see Moss 7 dedicating a lot to that, as well as Lucky Future. This fight is won out on this first point.
Yeah, Jinmu graduating, I think, to harken back to the desk. If Jinmu's playing Robin to Mask's Batman, I think he's graduated to Nightwing off the back of that play, because good lord, he was the one with the saving grace there. Mask has ranged himself forward. Of course, Widowmaker's so threatening here on this second point. It's very open sight line. She has a lot of places she can be, as well as W4D2 seems to want to demonstrate, managing to get a beatable snipe there onto Gudan. There goes the Transcendence as well. If they can find a rest for it, it would be huge. But meanwhile, it actually looks like Moss 7 is going to continue applying the pressure despite the losses. They want to just push forward and continue playing their aggressive style. It seems to work to their favor whenever they do, but crucially, they managed to run down Mask. They're starting to shut down this crucial defense DPS piece on the side of Moss 7 Club. And now Lucky Future, they're feeling luckier in their future as they start ranging forward once again. Winston gonna start blowing this one open. Jinmu, though, he wants to put a kibosh to this. He wants to put an end to this. And it looks like Moss 7 Club just gonna bounce it back.
They're doing a really good job of being able to sustain some of the pressure brought in by Lucky Future, whilst also making progress on the payload. So the payload's pretty much been moving all this time, and whilst we're not seeing any significant picks coming out of Moss 7, they're able to just completely sort of negate Wanli and push Yarg all the way back into their spawn. That they need to take care of Jinmi, who's just mission impossible right in the back line. But now they need some push on the point because it's getting very close to this final and second checkpoint.
Yeah, they put the grab and the dragon through it. They really want to go for a retake here. They're trying the harder, but Jinmu again comes in with this saving grace. He has the damage amp on him. He has Mercy just feeding him support during all of this. Scoots up in another triple kill for this lad. I think that's his second one of this map so far. He's looking to just find even more. Has Zenyatta in his sights. Deflecting, right click, and there we go. Click, click, everybody is down. No problem.
Torn apart, torn asunder. Lucky Future need to find a way to sort of work this back in their favor. It's a sort of good middle of the range sort of time that Moss 7 are setting themselves, but considering how sort of strong Lucky Future looked on that first point for so long, this is where the momentum might start sliding against Jinmu. It's just going to cause problems in the backline constantly, like he has been doing. Lucky Future want to try and do the same themselves.
So, Moss 7 continuing to apply pressure. Lucky Future are bringing back. They brought out the Brigitte, much stronger in this close-range environment, but they don't have the pressure on Mask. The tanks from Moss 7 occupying so much attention, absorbing so many hits. The moment that Mask has a split second of freedom, he's going to start landing these kills. You can see the Genji in the back line there. Yarg's trying to just put some pressure in, just trying to take some of the burden off that front line, but as long as nobody gets onto Mask, this could be blown wide open, and now the threat of Jinmu's come back once more. He is in a lot of trouble, though. It does take a lot of damage, but bounces basically on top of Wanli's head, gets 2 slashes down, takes him out. It's pretty much the Heroes of the Storm ultimate there, ladies and gentlemen. He does do a huge amount of damage. Vanessa gets dematched. Garrett just try his best. He's just there on the point. He's a statue stalling it out, but that doesn't last forever, unfortunately. Enlightenment is so short-lived here in the world of Overwatch, and it looks like Moss 7, they want to finish this one out.
Graviton's just there, just a little too late. It was a really interesting play actually coming out from Garage. Just the last second gets the transfers to stall it out for a little bit longer. This might be another sort of big numbers game. We do see Moss 7 being able to finish out the map with just less than 2 minutes on the clock. Now, what they run on defense is sort of their own game. It might be just a very typical lineup as we've seen already. Now, Lucky Future just need to sort of win out in an area that I feel that they're going to be really comfortable in. I think these strategies do favor Lucky Future a little bit more, and it gives less room for Moss 7 to really experiment with some of their lineups to an extent. Just because of these long sight ranges that you talked about, you can't really go without the snipers here.
Yeah, and like just to emphasize the point with snipers, like Wanli is a player that we've mentioned throughout Contenders as being a little bit slow to warm up. Like occasionally Lucky Future have done things like swap him out of a series for Sleepwalker, sort of his counterpart. And whenever they do that, it feels like Wanli like loses all momentum, but he's collected it here. He's managed to sort of find his mark. He's hitting his shots now. He was so decisive on that first point that if he can continue playing like that, Lucky Future can absolutely bring this to a 3-1 and makes the Oracle correct once again. Again, very important stakes on the line here. Kenobi could be going 2-0 on accurate scoreline predictions as well, which is very hard to do in Overwatch, as Overwatch League has demonstrated. So,
especially
a lot of pressure here.
Yeah, like Moss 7 could have, crashed and burned in this sort of way with the way that they want to play Overwatch, but I think just Lucky Future failed to contest it, and now they're looking a little bit stronger in certain areas. It's just too little too late, really. Moss 7 looking to bring out the sort of strategy that they've been running for the majority of Route 66 so far. Lucky Future, pretty much matching that, but Hoyokin, or Shein, whatever I say, is running the Ana on this attack, so again, wants to put more pressure on those long sight ranges.
Might just be to look for a shot. He's gone back into spawn straight away, swapped it to a Mercy. So maybe it was just for a tactical grenade or a tactical shot there, just to try and put a bit of extra damage on someone coming out of spawn. Either way, following that with relatively standard comps. I believe it's actually mirrored on both sides. So I'd say like going toe-to-toe, like Lucky Future are in with a really good shot here. This is sort of playing to Lucky Future's advantage here. I think Moss7 play better when they're pushing their opponent off kilter slightly. We'll see if Yag and Wan Li, though, can find the activation. As Jinmu suddenly come into his own on this map so far. Mask not quite finding the shots so far. It's just getting mostly body shots, which isn't quite enough bang for your buck for killing these tanks. As the point starts going around this first corner, there's a kill. That's what they need.
It's just the constant pressure coming in from Mask being there. Now he's started to sort of clear up house and Lucky Future need to be getting out. An amazing shot. Now shows that just Mask was sat there for so long, not really getting any picks, but you can't just leave him there. Otherwise he will start confirming those kills exactly as he did in that fashion. Now he has insight for this next push. It's going to make it much more difficult for Lucky Future to be discreet with whatever plan that they want to sort of fold onto here.
I mean, Scribe called it at the start of the day. If you let Mask play, he is just going to take over, and it's up to Lucky Future's tanks to shut this down. It is the job of tanks in this meta to control that Widowmaker, but it just feels like Mask is uncontested 90% of the time. Now he has infra side up, he knows exactly where everyone is, and it's going to be that much harder just to move in. Jinmu does have a Dragon Blade, however, he can try and get something done on the back of this. Looks like he wants to go for it, gets one lead. That is the kill that he needs at the moment. He gets himself another one as well, and Moss7 Club in firm control here on point number 1. It's looking better and better for them as they're just out-tempoing Lucky Future. They just are holding on to this momentum and rolling with it.
Then again, Lucky Future did the exact same when they were defending, so this could still turn into Lucky Future being able to finish up the map. But Moss7 are doing a really good job of being able to rotate their ultimates and abilities. That pick is most likely good to get rezzed up at all, but they may decide against because they don't need to. But this is a very aggressive stance from Lucky Future, rezzing so what on the front line. They may want to sort of seize this opportunity if they can get it.
Okay, now is the time. Now is clutch your kick. And oh, there's any other Transcendence. It's not what you want to see when you draw the Dragon Blade. He just bounces back out, tries to pressure out the Winston, but he is ready and waiting for it. Just activates that Primal Rage, bounces away. Nice and safely. Yixin feeling pretty good at the moment. I imagine he's going to even pick up the Mega Health Pack. There we go. He is A-OK. No problem for Moss7 Club so far. But Wan Li actually has a bit of an opening here. Manages to get in, gets Jinmu, res force out of Feng Minyan as he does manage to get that Valkyrie up and running, gets the res going for himself. Now the kills, though, the tank line from Moss7 Club starting to spring back. They have run out of road here on first point. They need to get some more done at the moment. Gudan continuing to put the pressure on, and now again, Mask just has so much space. Every single time the camera is on Mask, it just feels like there's no one around him. He's got like 20 meters of space in every direction, and you cannot let a Widowmaker do that. And Moss7 Club are playing this to their maximum advantage.
Yeah, Yag has just been completely zoned out of any objective, and I think that Dragon Blade that we saw from him previously really does epitomize how Route 66 has looked for them so far. Everybody seems so far away, and if he does get close, they have the ultimates ready. The Moss7 are very much in control of this ship. Granted, you don't want them in control of much else because they will change up the log. But Yag, again, bringing out the Dragon Blade, does get into the backline a little bit, manages to secure some picks at least for this one.
He does have the Venom Mine ticking on him as well. He's taking a lot of damage there. Zenyatta goes in and puts the finishing blow on it, but Lucky Future managing to get the kill somewhere out there. Kenobi is rubbing his hands together, seeing the Lucky Future starting to spring this one back. There's 10 seconds left in it. Yixin doing a great job here of just holding the spawn doors, making it so difficult for reinforcements to come back in, but they still got to clean up whatever's happening on the point. 4 seconds left. Dragon Blade comes out. Jinmu gets himself one, looking for two. He's getting pushed out by the Winston, but the Transcendence there to keep him alive. Looks like Mercy is the one actually stalling out the point. Gets the res onto Xian. That's going to help with this stall out even more. So what is actually on the point as well. We have a Doomfist joining us, ladies and gentlemen. Desperation. Doomfist has entered and has left stage right. Just gets shot down by Mask straight away. Overtime Wick is going to burn down incredibly fast once this once pressure gets off the point. Diva Bomb gets launched up. They've got to stay on it. Xian actually gets 2 with the Diva Bomb. This is the opening that they could need. Yag coming back on that Doomfist. Got to make his way back. One of the fastest rollouts in the game. Could be pivotal here. Diva Bomb goes off. Doesn't manage to find a kill, but he does manage to get back in the mech. He's stalling this one out even longer, but I think it's just Vanessa left on his own here. It looks like he's about to get cleaned up, bounced out. There we go. And hopefully, maybe for Kenobi's sake, they can finish here on first.
They have a big ask for them to sort of be able to finish out the whole map, but it does look like they're going to be able to take first point. Yag on a Doomfist, much more effective than he was on Genji in certain areas. So certainly getting picks out of using the ultimate. So now is going to be much more aggressive. Wan Li is going to go on these flanks, but it's already been somewhat zoned out by Mask, who is made a very swift exit from that flank. Doesn't want to be caught there again, but it is Yag that's going to go into the backline, tried to scare him off, but did have the grapple hook ready to get out of there. So now Lucky Future planted themselves into the second objective, trying to catch somebody just a little bit off guard.
I mean, like, as much as I like to, emphasize the Kenobi point, it is a very valid thing that Lucky Future should be aiming to get a map score on the board here. It is a very important thing in Contenders, and I know it's like a beaten upon point, but it's beaten upon for a reason that every single map does matter, and especially taking a map of someone who is directly above you and not letting them extend that. It's a +2 change. You basically lose one and they gain one, and that's never a good position to be in. So Lucky Future need to do some damage control here. If they can bring this one back, it will be huge. They have a lot of ultimates being stored up. They still have that Doomfist as well, of all things, here on second. Let's see if they can find an angle with it.
Moss7 have sort of stopped the payload in a very aggressive area, so this is quite nice for Lucky Future that it's very close to the spawn door. Yag is just very much been zoned out on the Doomfist, doesn't really know how he can approach this, but does have the ultimate ready if he decides to use it to get in or get out.
Okay, Jinmu set up at the moment. Might go for the Widowmaker. It looks like he's trying to pick his target at the moment. Transcendence has been used as well, so Jinmu probably has the biggest smile on his face. He knows that he's got things opening, gets one lead. That's a huge kill at the moment. Yag, though, does get rid of Mask on the opposite side. Jinmu, now it's your turn. Clutch or kick time, basically, as he does go in. No, he just runs right around the corner into Gary's boot that apparently headshot him. I imagine it was another hit, but I'm just going to imagine the boot knocked his head clean off as the Gary carry does actually pop up. He's managed to get rid of the Winston. He's just devastating people. The Mercy support is in his backline, and who knew Joanna could sign on for Lucky Future, because this Zenyatta has gone absolutely crazy and just devastated the opposite side.
And they can play much more aggressively now. Jinmu switching over to Brigitte, so that's why the use of the Dragon Blade, even though it didn't really amount to much, was all important for them. They didn't want to sit on it too much, but Moss7 Club have been sort of brought back to the sort of spawn, well, not spawn doors, but the checkpoint main doors. When they get another pick up to Gudan. So again, this is where Lucky Future is starting to spring into life a little bit. Want to get some momentum in their favor and sort of take this into the third point. A lot better than Moss7 managed to do, but now we're seeing deeper on deeper action. This team's looking to get out and has that self-destruct ready to play this point as we go to overtime yet again.
Yeah, so once more we have an overtime finish here on second. Mask has actually made his presence known on the point. Delete, so what? He's been doing such a much better job overall on this map, I'd say, as well. He's been sort of pressuring out quite nice, but Wanli does spring to life again, gets rid of Mask, such a crucial factor in this. The Transcendent's going to wind down, and then it's going to be a matter of can Lucky Future finish this one up. Diva Bomb goes up, they're trying to break the barrier. Can they get rid of it? Looks like no kills come off the back of it. At least he gets back into his map, as this is anyone's map at this point. Even Gary comes back here on the Moira. He's just trying to put in as much game as possible. Yag on the Genji, dashing through, getting so much work done on this hero at the moment. He almost has a Dragon Blade available to him, but it looks like the kill feed lining up on Moss7. It looks like they're just about to do it. I think the Diva thinks that they've done it with that spinning around crazily, and Moss7 Club take it 4-0. Kenobi's predictions not quite perfect, but I would say they're probably good enough. Moss7 putting on a show.
That
today.
final fight, the longer that it went on, the better it sort of looked for Moss7. They had spawn advantage, they had ult advantage, and that sort of momentum sort of spark, I suppose, that came out Lucky Future petered out fairly quickly. Kind of dividends to the rest of the matches that we've seen so far between these four teams. Ultimately, it's very difficult to say that it was going to go this way. I think both these teams have bright moments, but very much some big flaws and inconsistencies. But Moss7, I don't think really missed a beat at all this match.
Yeah, Moss7, they look comfortable. They, despite they look like they were comfortable making the enemy uncomfortable, and that's I think always a good position to be in. Like, how do you scout a team like Moss7? Who knows what they're going to bring out? Bastion, apparently, or a team lineup with just Diva and no tanks. Anyway, to try and break this one down, to try and explain to us exactly what Moss7's plans are in intricate and immaculate detail with full knowledge and comprehension, so we all understand Moss7's genius, it is the Desk Kick Tripod. Please enlighten us all.
Wow. Well, I don't know if you're going to get that here today, because, I mean, we were sitting in the lobby and we were watching the game just like you guys were while you were casting it, and
Moss7 is 900 IQ. That Bastion play was legit, though. That was so cool to see. That was so awesome. Just watching the entirety of Lucky Future walk into the mega room, and there's just a Bastion there, and everyone just gets melted. I love that play coming out from Moss7 Club. That's the Moss7 Club that I love to see.
Yeah, but building off that, it's actually really about strong fundamentals. That's kind of what I really want to touch about, because let's actually review those two compositions and kind of like what the real purpose is, right? Like you brought up the entire like Brigitte, like kind of like 1.5 tank composition, and that's really built on kind of like using that Lucio to really power through close the distance and really jump onto their backlines, and that's kind of exactly what Lucky Future has been struggling with, right? I think Moss 7 recognized very early on that Yarg is probably the big carry here. We need to neutralize him. Getting that distance, closing the distance, and more importantly, having a lot of options to really block any big hit scan, making sure that you don't really get picked off coming in. That's huge, and that's a big compositional switch that they love using, and it's good fundamental play from them. The same thing with the Bastion play. If you know that this Lucky Future has a tendency to play slightly aggressive, if you cited it in a few scrims or a few VODs, coming out with that composition is almost an entire hard counter here, and that's what I really like about them. They're thinking on their feet. They have strong fundamentals. They're playing the way that the game should be played with their composition. It might not be the consistent or most optimal one that like the Overwatch League has decided upon, but it is strong enough, and they are executing it extremely well.
Yeah, like Scribe said, it's kind of like what Overwatch was meant to be, right? The point of having, you know, pick from is that you can counter what your opponent's going to be playing, whether it is like you said, in scrims or something that you noticed in a VOD. Just the ability from Moss 7 Club to kind of have this, you know, quick like snap ability to say, okay, they're going to be running this. So we know that they're going to be running this. Let's pick something wild that they're not going to be expecting, so we can abuse the fact that they're going to be running this specific comp. I really love what I see from Moss 7, and you know, they're just their snap ability to on the dime just switch to a comp that's going to counter you, and you can't really do anything about it.
So we do need to address the elephant in the room, and that is the fact that your prediction was way, way, way wrong, Kenobi. Just way off.
I don't know what I'm gonna do with myself. I mean, I should never be in the analyst desk again. Like, I mean, 4-0, what's that? I guess 3-1.
You're not an analyst. You're just a professional guesser.
Oh yeah, okay, yep. That's right.
That's my job, though. I'm the.
So why were you so very wrong here? No, I'm just kidding. But what really at the end of the day just gave Moss 7 that extra zoom, I guess?
Yeah, I think we talked about it. Cohesiveness and just confidence, I think, is another thing that I would like to touch on just a little bit. It seems like Moss 7 Club, whenever they're running something, especially today, it just seemed like they were just very comfortable and confident on what they were playing. I mean, we saw Mask on the Widow, you know, completely decimating Wan Lee's Widow. And like we were talking during the break and during in our analyst room, we're like, please, Wan Lee, just hit a shot. But he's like deer in headlights, right? He doesn't know what to do because Mask just has his number completely. And then when that's, you know, happening, and then, you know, some of the blades coming out from Lucky Future were just a little bit, you know, not ideal blades coming out. And, you know, Yard can only carry so much, and Tian as well also tried his best, but the rest of the team just didn't match up as well as it did to Moss 7 Club as a whole unit. So, you know, carry potential can only get you so far, Kate.
Yeah, Jinmu was sorry about that. Yeah, but Jinmu was also on there on touch upon, because we mentioned before it was all about who is the stronger Robin. Jinmu was able to make up space when, for example, a Yarg was able to get a pick, right? When they were able to take down Mask, or Soa was playing aggressive and was able to chase him down. Jinmu was almost instantaneously in the backline, like saving an ult or something. He got a lot of really great blades off, and that's kind of like the big disparity, right? Wan Lee just could never get started. He had some great moments, and that kind of shows like the mechanical ability is there, but he wasn't playing off Yarg. He wasn't making sure that when Yarg was going down, he was taking out the mantle. It almost felt like when Yarg got down, he was panicking. He was like, oh, I had to make all these other shots, and he wasn't really playing with his team. Yeah,
we saw it on, you know, on Route 66 on that last map too. We, you know, oh, they used all their resources to get Mask. Guess what? Guess what? In the back line, there's Jinmu getting a 3K with the Dragon Blade, like you mentioned. So there's kind of, you need that kind of disparity between the DPS. Like, it can't just be all on the shoulders of one person, or they're just going to get focused down. It's going to be a very difficult time for you.
So let's go ahead before we get out of here. I want to talk about our MVP for the for the match here. Kenobi, who's your pick here for MVP for the match?
I would say, based on, you know, how we were talking about, you know, Batman and Robin, and, you know, which Batman and Robin was going to be the better combo, I'd actually give it to Jinmu. While Mask was able to do like a lot of work on, and probably deserves that MVP. The fact that Jinmu was just able to cover for him, I really like that, because we saw what it's like on the side of Lucky Future when you don't have someone to cover for you, right? And it's just Yarg sitting there trying his best, and Wanli couldn't do anything. So definitely for most valuable, I think today Jinmu was a very valuable player for Moss 7.
Fair enough. Scribe, what about you?
I have to give it to Mask. I mean, we talk so much about how much like impact players and DPS players, especially in China, are like kind of the crux of the entire lineup. We talk about like raising the puppy being a very standard style of play where you kind of funnel all your resources in one player. What I like about it is that Moss 7 Club does that to some extent, but it almost feels like Mask is always able to pop off with it. He's able to accurately use his resources. He's always able to optimize it, and he's finds himself in great positions. He's a smart player, and that's what I like about him more. He's not willing to always repeat the same angles. He's always trying to look for something else. He's looking for, how do I counter this play, right? And it was kind of funny because when you were watching like someone like Wanli kind of like die, like trying to grapple through stuff, it almost felt like Mask was always watching the angle. You always saw like a Mask in the peripheral where he was like, he missed like a slight shot on the grapple, right? But he was always ready for it. He's always like looking for that small angle. And that's what I like about a player, when he's proactive and willing to carry his team.
Awesome. I love it. Well, Kenobi, Scribe, this was a blast. I love having you guys on the desk. I think we're saying goodbye to you for real this time as we go on to match number 3 between Team CC and Legend Young Beyond. Before we do, let me tell you about Broadcast.gg. Broadcast.gg exists as a community of broadcasters, producers, analysts, casters, hosts, graphic designers, video editors. If you are or want to be any of those, get started by clicking on the panel down below. Join our Discord. We'll get you plugged in, and we'll get you going. Doing esports. Do esports. First of all, do that. If you're just spectating, you're like, you know what, that's not really for me. I don't think that I can guess as well as Kenobi can. I just want to watch. Make sure to follow up there, and then follow us on Twitter at broadcast.gg. Spell it the .dot, spell it out. And, we'll keep you updated and posted on all that there. Thank you, guys. That's going to do it for this one. It was final score, Moss 7 Club 4, Lucky Future 0. We're going to be right back in about 5 minutes for Team CC versus Legend Young Beyond.